What's going on today, everybody? We're back in the fish room, and on today's video, I am going to be telling you guys my comparisons between the three most common filters for aquariums. You got your sponge filter, simple and easy. You got your hang on the back filter, which I don't run very much, but there is a place for it in the hobby. And three is canister filters. I know there's other types of filtration. You got your sump, you got your internal canister filter, you got your other types of filters that are like built into the tank. It works essentially like a sump. A lot of those BioCubes have the filtration built into the tank to where it's on the back side of the tank. But we're just going to talk about the three common ones and likes and dislikes and what I believe is the best for me. So yeah, number one, we're going to start with our simple and easy, our sponge filter. Easy money. I know if you guys have been watching for a while, we run pretty much all sponge filters. I'll go ahead and show you. Pretty much every tank has a sponge filter, except a couple. So, we have sponge filters in this tank. There's a guy in the corner here. There's a guy in the corner over there. Barely see it. There is no sponge filters in here. We have a sponge filter in here. Hang on the back sponge filter. Suction cup sponge. That's a suction cup one. Suction cup to the wall. That's a dual sponge filter. And then we got down here just a single monster sponge filter. We got two splits here. And our angelfish tank. Rod's tank. Look at him. He's nice and full. He's got one. They've got a mini one in the back. They've got one. They've got one behind that rock. Danny Phantom's got one in the back. Our 300-gallon is running 4 singles. Monstrous. And yeah, everything else is other filters. Sponge filters are lit. As you can see, I like me some sponge filters. They work very well. Easy to maintain. Easy to clean. Easy to just throw in a tank and go. Easy to seed. So if you were to start up a new tank and like you had the sponge filter already, you could throw it, just not even running, you could just throw it in your existing tank, let the beneficial bacteria build up on it, and then when you have your other tank set up and ready to go, you just throw that bad boy in there and it's seeded, ready to go. I think the only cons to sponge filters is obviously you're going to need an air source. So you're going to need an air pump, air line, and a sponge filter. 3 things you're going to need to run sponge filters. But with that one air pump, you can run all of these sponge filters. That's ran off one air pump. That's it. So yeah, much cheaper. Depending on how many tanks, if you're just going to get a small single, you just have one tank and you just want to run one airline to it, it's cheap, easy. $10 for a pump, maybe, probably even cheaper than that. $10 for a sponge filter, there, you got $20, $20, you have everything you need for a tank, for filtration. Depending on your sizes and whatnot, you're good to go. So yeah, I love sponge filters. They're simple, easy, stupid. You can't mess them up. Now, hang on the backs. Now, back in the day, probably 6-7 years ago, I did have hang on the backs. They do work very well. All you do is plug them in to the wall, put them in your tank. They hang on the back. They pull water flow through the bottom, flow up through the filter, come out as a waterfall effect. And those little, so pretty much the cost is you buy the filter to hang on the back and then throw it in there. You can rebuy the carbon filters, but if you guys want me to go in full in depth on that, I wouldn't use those carbon filters. They're scamming you. All you need to do is throw some filter floss in the back, or buy like a sponge media. I don't have it around, but you can buy a square of sponge and just stuff it back there. Like, you don't need to be doing all that carbon filter bowl stuff. You can buy bulk stuff on Amazon, just shove it in the back of there, and it'll filter 10 times better than your carbon filters. It's gonna, every time you change out that carbon filter, you're getting rid of all the beneficial bacteria that's in that hang on the back. The pro to hang on the back is you plug it in, you're good to go. It just hangs on the back. It's easily accessible. You don't really have to get your hands wet to clean it. Yeah, I mean, it's really easy. Con, I don't like having water on the outside of my tank, because back in the day, I had a 55 long with 2 Oscars in it and maybe piranhas. Yeah, and back in the day, I was at the parents' house in the basement, and let's just say, if that hang on the back is not hung on the back perfectly flush, so water's just going to keep pumping in, and if that's just tilted a little bit, water's just going to spill out the back. So you wake up one morning and you get out of bed and you're stomping on the carpet and you hear yeah, let's just say 55 gallons ruined the whole basement. Sorry, Mom, Dad, sorry. So yeah, that's why I don't run any canister filter or hang on the back filters, because I had a very bad experience. I mean, hey, they're good filters. They work very well. But me personally, I'm not going to run them. That's PTSD. I ain't going to run them. Ain't even worth my time. I ain't going to run them. Now, for canister, onto our canister filters. They work well. They work good. They work so good. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. They work very well. There's really not much cleaning you have to do. I clean mine like once every 6 months, literally. Sometimes I'll clean it more. Sometimes, like this one down here that was for this tank, I haven't cleaned that thing in a year. I cleaned it a couple months ago after it had already been a year. Things like perfectly clean in there. Still good flow. So yeah, cost-wise, canister filters can definitely range to quite a bit of money. You can either go very low on the spectrum, like cheap, not brand name. I don't have any brand name. I run all cheaper stuff because that's what I do. I don't need the FX6, but I mean, I wouldn't mind an FX6. I just don't want to spend the money for it. If I had an FX6, I would run that baby. I would run that baby on here and here. But I don't want to spend the money for it. So I just run my generic smaller. You can use smaller ones. I mean, you can get canister filters for any size tank you want. Most of the time, people are running canister filters if they don't want an ugly sponge filter or an ugly canister filter spout hanging in there. You can get nice little inlets and outlets for your canister, but you can get it for all size tanks, whatever you want. So pro is they work extremely well, very effective and efficient. I just spit all over. You don't have to clean them very much, depending on how dirty your fish are. I had a whole bunch of monster fish down here and didn't clean it for a year, if that tells you anything. 3, yeah, they just work good. I don't know what else to, they just work good. So yeah, con, depending on what you get, going to be much pricier than your sponge filter or hang on the back. Another con is you kind of have to find a spot to put it on the outside of your tank. If you have like a nice stand, you can stuff it in your underneath your stand so it's out of the way. That's actually nice. But if you don't have a stand, if you have like stacked stands, you just have to like put it off to the side, which is kind of a hassle. When you do clean it, it's like a more intrusive cleaning. Like you have to pull everything out, clean all the media, do all that, yada, yada, yada. It's a lot more time consuming than like a sponge filter. You just clean it off in a bucket of water. Same with the hang on the back. You just pull your sponge out, clean it off, put it back in. But yeah, that's kind of the filtration. I know sumps. I have 2 different types of sumps. I know I'm not going to go over it. But yeah, that's kind of the 3 filters that I would go for if you're more of a beginner. Sumps are not hard to do. I'm just not going to get in it. If you guys want me to do like a full sump video, I have a sump for the piranha tank, and I have a sump, like a back part sump for the guppy, the planted guppy tank. I also will show you guys my own type of canister filter over here. Yeah, that I made for the 1,000 gallon. So this is like our canister filter that I made for our monster pond. So what happens is you got a pump down there that you can't see. It's down in the bottom. You got a pump there that pumps up that skinnier line, goes over, comes down, comes through the bottom. So you got water in the bottom. And at the bottom of that, I have the light diffuser on the bottom, so like water can easily flow through the bottom. And then to about here, I have a lava rock filled all the way up. So that's where all of our beneficial bacteria is going to be living. And then on top of the lava rock, I have a giant pad, probably this thick, of filter floss on top of that. And then when it gets to the top, it then spills out here, down here, and out here. And as you can see, we have significant flow. And then on top here, I just have some clay pebbles, and I'm trying to grow some monstera with a peace lily that looks like it's doing really well, actually. And then our pothos, I don't know if it will convert, but yeah, I'll show you guys the inside here. Nothing crazy. You can see the filter floss a little dirty. But yeah, that's kind of it for the 3 filter options you have for beginners. So yeah, if you like the video, like and subscribe, turn on those bell notifications.